Hi guys, so today I am going to be sharing with you a Bolo 411 video. It has been a while since I made one of these types of videos. So basically, if you haven't watched one of my Bolo 411 videos, I take a either category or brand or just item in general and try and figure out what within that category or brand is selling the highest on eBay currently. Times change, so if you're watching this video like a year or two from now, it might not be the same as, it is currently the market for these items. So when I was out yard sailing the other week, I stumbled upon some cookbooks, and I feel like cookbooks you can find anywhere. You can find them at yard sales, you can find them at thrift stores, you can find them at auctions. They are literally everywhere. Library book sales. I mean, chances are when you are outsourcing, you're gonna stumble upon cookbooks. But what cookbooks are really worth the time and effort to pick up to resell? So I went ahead and did all the research for you. So if you don't know about any of these Bolos as far as cookbooks go, which I did not, that's why I wanted to make this video to educate myself as well as anyone else who, wants a little bit of knowledge on what cookbooks sell for. So I went ahead and I have 10 cookbooks to go through. So I don't like these videos to be super duper long, but I do like to talk a little bit about what I was seeing. So the first one that I have on my list, and these aren't in any like real particular order, was the Mastering the Art of French Cooking by Julia Childs. So we all know who Julia Childs is, or was, and I was noticing that there was other cookbooks by her that were also selling pretty well. So definitely if you ever come across a cookbook by Julia Childs, I would run a comp on it just to see. But this one here was definitely selling well. This was the Mastering the Art of French Cooking. This one was selling for as high as $381 for a cookbook. Like, it's just insane, but there are people out there who are specifically looking for recipes from these cookbooks and things like that. So that one was the first one that I stumbled across. The next one, I didn't know anything about this one either, but this one was called Leon's Italian Cookbook, and this is by someone named Jean Leon. This one was selling for as high as $250. So another thing I was seeing a lot when it came to the higher priced cookbooks, it seemed like Italian cookbooks were selling pretty well. Any kind of home style, like down home style cooking cookbooks were selling pretty well and that type of thing. So, if you're coming across a lot of cookbooks, it's definitely a good idea to just, peruse through them and see if any of these are in there. I'm also trying, as I'm like putting up pictures, if there was a cookbook that, would have had a dust cover, but the dust cover was missing, I was trying to add those pictures too, so you could see the book with or without the dust cover, just in case you come upon one and it doesn't have the dust cover on any longer. Next one we have was a Dolly Parton cookbook. This one was called Dolly's Dixie Fixins. So again, with these cookbooks, you would kind of think, the older ones, the vintage cookbooks, would be the ones selling for, high amounts. But there are some newer ones in here. I feel like this one isn't like that super old. Again, some celebrity themed type of cookbooks were selling well. This one was selling for as high as $219. I feel like this one, I don't know if I've ever seen these and not realized and maybe just like walked right past them, or if these are maybe a little bit harder to find out in the wild. I don't know, how many were in production and that type of thing, but I was a little blown away by the Dolly Parton cookbook selling that high. The next one we have, this one is the type I was talking about with more of that like home style, like down home style cooking. This one is called It's Gonna Be Good Y'all by Brenda Gant. This one was selling for as high as $150. So I'm really curious about some of the recipes in that particular cookbook, because that does look like it would be a really good one to go through. Next one, we also have a celebrity kind of themed cookbook. This one was Naomi's Home Companion by Naomi Judd. Again, one I feel like, what if I walked past this while I was out yard selling one time and just had no idea until now? So this one was selling for as high as $157. Now I will say there were some of these cookbooks that she personally signed that had her autograph in, and those were selling obviously for much higher. So yeah, but still, again, another like country star cookbook. So I don't know, I thought that one was a little surprising too. That one and the Dolly Parton, I was just kind of like, what? All right, so the next one we have is The Art of Eating Well, an Italian cookbook. So this one here, again, it's an Italian cookbook. It was selling for as high as $150, which is just, I don't know, these prices are just crazy for cookbooks, but we all know as resellers that some things can go for just insane amounts of money that you would just really have no idea about unless you know about them, type of thing. So you'll have to let me know down in the comments if you knew about any of these particular cookbooks, or if you know of any that maybe I didn't put in here, because like I said, I'm only doing a handful of them. Next, we also have another celebrity kind of cookbook. This one was Sofia Loren, In the Kitchen with Love. This one was an older one, and that one was selling for as high as $194. So, like I said, there are some, you know, celebrity styled cookbooks in here that are worth like a lot of money. So it just makes me like I'm going to a thrift store later on today, and I'm just like really wanting to look through all the cookbooks today after I researched these. So I threw in this next item. It's not necessarily a cookbook, but it goes along with the cookbook theme as far as recipe cards. So I know I sometimes see these boxed sets of recipe cards. My mom had these box sets of recipe cards while I was growing up. I don't think she ever used them. They might have been like a mail-in order type of product type of thing. But some of these recipe card box sets are selling pretty decently, especially if you have complete sets of them and things like that. So this one here was called My Great Recipe Cards, and these were selling for as high as $118. So I know I have seen similar ones in thrift stores. I remember I went to Goodwill once and I found a box set. I looked it up and the comps were pretty good, but the comps were better if it were like a complete set. So I passed on them because it was missing parts of the set type of thing. But I definitely feel like those are something you can typically come across, not necessarily fairly often, but you potentially have already seen them out in the wild before. Next we have a Southern Living cookbook. This one is called the Southern Living Party Cookbook. This one has sold for as high as $80. So still up there in price, not as crazy as some of these other ones, but again, still a really good cookbook if you would happen to come across it. The last cookbook that I have in this Bolo video is not really a cookbook. It's not a cookbook to make food with, or you're not going to find food recipes in this cookbook, but I thought I would post it in here because it still sells for an insane amount of money. It's the Anarchist cookbook that sells for as high as $486. I'm kind of surprised that this one is even allowed to be sold on eBay. I know you can buy it on Amazon as well. But if you don't know what kind of cookbook it is, it's like a very bad cookbook to make very bad things. So it is kind of crazy to me that you're even able to sell it on eBay, considering there's so much other stuff you're not allowed to sell on eBay. That doesn't make sense. So I don't know if there are different versions of it. There could be different versions of it that don't have as crazy of recipes in as others. So I don't know, but when I was looking up cookbooks, it was popping up as, you know, one that sells for a lot of money. So I thought I'd add it to it. I have never personally come across one while out and about, but obviously they are out there because you can, you know, buy them on Amazon and stuff like that. So that's pretty much all the cookbooks that I was going to go through in this Bolo video, just because, like I said, I don't like these videos to be super duper long, but I do like to get out there some of the higher priced ones that I have come across that I didn't know anything about. Like, I didn't know, looking back through here, I didn't know about any of these cookbooks being worth as much as they are. Now, I have sold cookbooks in the past. I typically sell, you know, the vintage Betty Crocker cookbooks, and some of those can sell really well. Not the astounding numbers you kind of see here, but definitely for a decent amount of money that I would continue to pick some of them up. So I didn't add any of the Betty Crockers in here because I feel like most people know about the Betty Crocker cookbooks, or, you know, I was just going through ones that like I didn't know about and that kind of thing, because it just made me wonder if these are like well-known cookbooks to other people as well, and maybe I just don't know anything about them. But that's why I like doing these videos, because I'm learning stuff while I'm doing research on them, and then I'm passing along that knowledge in case you come across any of them while you are out sourcing. So you guys will have to let me know, like I said, if you knew about any of these cookbooks, if you sold any of these cookbooks, what you sold them for, and if you even really look at cookbooks when you're out sourcing, or if it's something you just really don't pay a whole lot of attention to, which I'm like so. Sometimes I'll look, and sometimes I just, you know, walk right past them because I don't really know what to look for. Also, let me know what you thought of this video. If you have any suggestions for other Bolo 411 videos that I can do in the future, I want to keep trying to make them. Like I said, it's been a while since I've made one, and I like doing them, and sometimes I'll just get the inspiration like when I'm outsourcing, because I'll see something and then I'll say to myself like, wow, Michelle, you really don't know much about this particular item. Let's do some research on it and find out more information. And that's how I felt about pretty much every Bolo video I've done. It was me wanting to gain more knowledge on that particular item or that particular brand. So unless something like pops out at me when I'm outsourcing, I'm not really thinking about doing a Bolo video on it. So any suggestions you have on things that you would like to know a little bit more about, what sells for the best money on eBay, let me know down in the comments. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this one, and I will see you next time.